Today's lesson is about simplifying radicals. Okay, when you have a radical with a radicand that is a perfect square, you can simplify it simply by calculating the square root. For example, the square root of 9 is 3 and then you're done. The square root of 36 is 6 and you're done. What if you don't have a perfect square like 18 or 72 or 75? You can only simplify these. And we're focusing on square roots today. We're not doing cubic roots or other roots yet. The square root of 18 can only be simplified. We need to write 18 as the product of a perfect square like 9 times a number. 18 is 9 times 2. So square root of 18 is square root of 9 times square root of 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So remove the square root and put 3. And square root of 2 stays, and now we're done simplifying this. So square root of 18 is 3 times square root of 2. Let's do the same thing for 72. We need to write 72 as the product of a perfect square and a small number like 2 or 3 or 5. Okay, so 72 is 36 times 2, and then put each of these under the square root. The square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 2 can't be simplified anymore. So this is equal to 6 square root of 2. Let's do 75. 75, we can write it as a perfect square, 25 times 3. So write it like this, as 25 times 3. The square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 3 stays. Okay, what if you have letters in there? If you have letters, we divide the exponent by 2 if it's an even number. For example, if you're looking for the square root of x to the power 8, the square root of x to the power 8 is x to the power 4. Why? Because x to the 4 times itself is x to the 8. So you're looking for the number or expression which, when you multiply by itself, will give you the radicand. What number do you multiply by itself to get 9? The answer is 3. What number do you multiply by itself to get 36? The answer is 6. What do you multiply by itself to get x to the 8? The answer is x to the 4th. Okay. If you have something like x to the 16th, the answer is not x to the 4th. The answer is x to the 8th. Because x to the 8th times x to the 8th will give you x to the 16th. So you always divide the exponent by 2. Here's another one, x to the power 200. The square root is going to be x to the power 100. Okay, what if the exponent is odd, like x to the 9th? If you have something like x to the 9th, what you do is you split it up. You can only simplify it, like what we did with these radicals that did not have perfect squares. We do the same thing here. We're going to write this as x to the 8th times x. Assuming x is positive, we're going to write each of these under its own square root. The square root of x to the 8th is x to the 4th. Square root of x will stay. So if you have an odd number, you always do 1 plus. Like 1 plus 8 is 9. Let's do another one. X to the power, let's say 21. So you do this as square root of x to the power 20 times square root of x. I split 21 into 20 and 1. Square root of 20 is going to be 20 over 2 is 10. So this is x to the power 10 times square root of x. Okay, this one has 3 items in it, 9, x to the 4th, and y to the 6th. We do each of these separately. If they're perfect squares, square root of 9 is equal to 3. X to the 4th will give you x squared. Divide 4 by 2. Divide 6 by 2, and that will give you y cubed. Done. And for this one, the square root of 81 is 9. For x to the 6th, x to the 6th gives us x to the 3rd. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Z to the power 12 divided by 2 is 6. Done. For problem 213, none of these is a perfect square. 32 is not a perfect square. So what we need to do is split it up, write it as a perfect square times a small number like 2 or 3. We're going to write 32 as 16 times 2. X to the 11, that's an odd power, so we'll write it as x to the 10 times x. Y to the 15, y to the power 14 times y. And then z to the 17th will be z to the 16th times z. And all of this is under a square root. Let's take out what we can. Okay. Square root of 16 is 4, so take it out, but outside of the square root. Okay, so 4. This one is done. I'm going to do this to it. 2 is going to stay. X to the 10th, we can divide 10 by 2, so that gives us x to the 5th. Done. Y to the power 14, divide 14 by 2, that will give you y to the 7th. Done. Z to the power 16 will give you z to the power 8 when you divide it by 2. Done. The rest can't come out of the square root, so 2x, y, z. These will stay. So you take out the 16, square root of 16 is 4. You take out the even exponents, divide them by 2, and you leave the odd exponents, ones, and you leave any number there that doesn't have a, that's irrational and it doesn't have a, that's not a perfect square.